It's 2 o'clock, right? Good morning, and welcome to today's. Oh yeah, I forgot that one little line. The committee will come to order. The chair recognizes himself for an opening statement. Good morning, and welcome to today's subcommittee markup on the First Responder Network Authority Reauthorization Act. I'm excited about our progress and taking this next big step towards reauthorizing this important program. Last week, we heard from a great panel of witnesses who shared their expertise and experiences with FirstNet and provided input on how this legislation would improve the network and ensure it operates in the best interest of public safety. We heard directly from NTIA that not only is the FirstNet board protected in statute, but they have no intention of dismantling or casting aside the FirstNet board. It's actually quite the opposite. NTIA relies on the board to provide crucial expertise and direction on the needs of public safety. This legislation not only keeps the board, but strengthens public safety's voice by requiring 2 additional seats on the board be dedicated to public safety. I want to note this vote today does not signify we're done working on this legislation. We are continuing to gather feedback from public safety groups and stakeholders about certain provisions in the legislation. We're continuing to work in a bipartisan fashion in good faith, and we will continue to work in the coming weeks to ensure that this bill is the best possible version it can be before it reaches the House floor. Reliable communications are absolutely essential for our first responders in emergencies. While a lot has been done to stand up this first-of-its-kind public safety communications network, there's more work to do to ensure the promise of FirstNet is fulfilled. In my home state of North Carolina, first responders have shared their frustrations about FirstNet not working in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Helene. The reforms included in this legislation before us today are intended to ensure that FirstNet delivers a reliable, interoperable communications network to our first responders, and the FirstNet Authority acts in the best interest of the public safety community it serves. I want to thank my colleagues on both sides of the aisle for their continued commitment to this issue and for their work developing this proposal. I look forward to reauthorizing the First Responder Network Authority. I now yield 5 minutes to my colleague, Ranking Member Matsui, for her opening statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad we're moving FirstNet reauthorization forward. Keeping the public safe is one of our most fundamental responsibilities, and FirstNet is a core part of how we deliver on that duty. When lives are on the line, first responders can't afford dropped connections or delayed information. They need priority service and strong coverage, especially when local networks are overloaded or infrastructure is damaged. That's exactly why Congress created FirstNet, a nationwide broadband network built for public safety. This reauthorization takes what's working with FirstNet and makes it stronger. We need greater transparency on performance and coverage and clear accountability to the American people. We must also continue expanding interoperability so agencies can communicate seamlessly across jurisdictions and providers. We're off to a strong start, and now we need to stick the landing. As we look forward or ahead to a full committee consideration of this bill, we'll keep working with public safety, industry, and other stakeholders to take in feedback and make adjustments where needed. Our goal is straightforward: a stronger FirstNet that earns trust, expands coverage, and delivers reliable connectivity for first responders in every community. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you. I now recognize the gentleman from Kentucky, the chairman of the full committee, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Hudson, for holding this important markup today. And today we'll take the first vote to advance the First Responder Network Reauthorization Act. This legislation will ensure the FirstNet is reauthorized for another 10 years. The bill also makes some reforms to improve transparency, accountability, and leadership, but also ensures longevity and continued development of this network as technology evolves. I want to reiterate Chairman Hudson's comments that there is still work to be done on this legislation. We are continuing to hear from public safety groups and other stakeholders about ways to improve certain provisions in this legislation, and we will continue to work with them in good faith to improve the bill. We want to ensure that our first responders have the most reliable communications network when they need it most. Natural disasters like tornadoes and floods that have devastated my great Commonwealth in the recent years have disrupt communications, networks, cutting people off from resources and information in critical moments. You're trying to figure out where your family is critical as well. So our work today is meant to ensure that FirstNet delivers a reliable, resilient network for public safety so they can do their jobs in these emergency situations. I want to thank the sponsors of this bill, Representative Dunn and McClellan, for their work and commitment to improving public safety for first responders and all Americans. I know there is more work to be done here, and I look forward to seeing the finished legislation. And Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back.
Thank you. I now recognize the gentleman from New Jersey, the ranking member, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Hudson. Today, the subcommittee is considering bipartisan legislation introduced by Representatives McClellan and Dunn to reauthorize the First Responder Network Authority. We must reauthorize this authority to ensure we're providing first responders with reliable, interoperable communications during emergencies when it matters most. It's critical that we resolve the looming sunset of FirstNet, and I commit to doing all I can to support that effort. Now, at the subcommittee hearing last week on this bill, witnesses stressed how the nationwide public safety broadband network is an essential component of our emergency communications infrastructure. It provides an invaluable service, keeping first responders connected, not just when the crisis occurs, but also supports increased connectivity during major events like the Super Bowl or the World Cup Finals at the Meadowlands in New Jersey later this year. So much of FirstNet's popularity with public safety users is the fact that the network has been deployed with direct input from public safety leaders who serve on the FirstNet board. Since the early days of planning and standing up the network to expand coverage and upgrade services more recently, the FirstNet board has ensured public safety has multiple seats at the table and a central role in the authority's activities. It's critically important that we ensure the voices of public safety leaders remain at the table. And that's why I'm pleased the legislation today actually improves public safety representation on the board by raising the number of board seats reserved for public safety representatives from 3 to 5. The bill also makes a technical correction to fix the stacking of board terms so that only a portion of seats become vacant at one time. And this should address the issue of brain drain from the board while alleviating the burden of refilling many vacancies at one time. It's also clear, however, that the original classification in law of the First Responder Network Authority as both an independent authority and an authority under the National Telecommunications and Information Administration has been a source of unnecessary confusion over the years. This unique situation has created structural problems with the FirstNet Authority that have at times opened the door to poor decision-making and waste without any consequence for those responsible. And the Department of Commerce Office of Inspector General has identified a handful of troubling circumstances and actions that make clear there's not enough oversight of the executive director position under the current structure, which prevents accountability when it's called for. So this bill proposes to eliminate the ambiguity in current law by bringing the FirstNet Authority more formally under the purview of NTIA with the full intention of preserving the autonomy of FirstNet Authority leadership and employees over day-to-day operations, emergency response, strategic planning, and other activities they currently carry out. And I appreciated feedback from witnesses and public safety stakeholders who have recommended that the committee more explicitly contemplate the division of roles and responsibilities in the legislation. Those kinds of recommendations and others are highly useful as we move ahead with this process. So I look forward to continuing to work with Chairs Guthrie and Hudson, Ranking Member Matsui, and Representatives McClellan and Dunn to continue to strengthen the bill in order to build broad support in advance of the full committee markup. And I'm confident that with continued bipartisan cooperation and good faith participation by members and stakeholders alike, we will reauthorize FirstNet and guarantee first responders to not lose access to this critical service. So thank you again, Mr. Chairman. I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you, gentlemen. The chair reminds members that pursuant to committee rules, all members' opening statements will be made part of the record. Are there any further opening statements?
I cooled down a little.
The gentleman from Florida, Mr. Dunn, is recognized for his opening statement.
Chairman, I move to strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
A little early.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
I urge support for our bipartisan bill, the First Responder Network Authority Reauthorization Act, and I thank Representative McClellan for co-leading it with me. As America nears its 25th anniversary of 9/11, It is clear we have to fulfill our duty to reauthorize our most important communications network. And I applaud the committee chairman, Hudson, Chairman Guthrie, and ranking member, and of course, my co-lead, Representative McClellan. Last week, we held a legislative hearing where we heard from Sheriff Atkinson of Walton County, Florida, NTIA and ATT for the need to reauthorize the program. Like I stated last week, when Congress created the First Responder Network Authority, there was a clear mandate to have a public safety preemptive network that would be used exclusively for first responders on the ground. Our nation's heroes and public servants alike who are the first to respond, the first people to put their lives on the line, deserve a robust communication system. It is a very clear mandate to give our local communities the resources they need to respond to tragedies. Since 2017, when this was first awarded, this has been a tremendous success story. This public-private partnership has flourished and created new markets and strong competition. We've also learned lessons that our job as oversight of the program is critical. This includes contract transparency and maintaining accountability at all levels. FirstNet is imperative to Florida's panhandle before and after and during a disaster. We know all too well the effects. My district has been hit by 4 major hurricanes in the past 8 years. Most recently, Helene, and most devastatingly, Hurricane Michael, which we're still rebuilding from in 2018. As we continue to fine-tune this legislation, I must acknowledge it is a work in progress. I'm confident that through our conversations with stakeholders and members of this committee, we will achieve success. We must ensure the members of the board of FirstNet from our public safety communication have the authority to make crucial decisions for the integrity and continuity of the program. And I look forward to finalizing these discussions and ultimately passing a bill that everyone can support. I thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. Are there any further opening statements? Seeing not, the chair calls up H.R. 7386 and asks the clerk to report.
H.R. 7386, a bill to amend the middle class.
Without objection, the first reading of the bill is dispensed with, and the bill will be open for amendment at any point. So ordered. Does anyone seek to be recognized on the bill? Chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman.
3 minutes. 5 minutes. Sorry, let me get my act together here. 5 minutes to speak on the bill. You are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. During hurricanes, fires, even deep freezes like we recently had in Central Florida, reliable communication is critical for our brave first responders to save lives. After 9/11, with the terrorist attacks that hit both New York and D.C., Congress stepped up, creating FirstNet with spectrum sale proceeds. There was an audacious goal, making sure every community, no matter how rural or urban or in between, gets access to dependable communications for their emergencies. Every American deserves that protection. I contacted several Central Florida agencies, and we saw there are several that use FirstNet currently. Orange County Sheriff's Department, Osceola County Emergency Management Department, the City of Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Osceola Sheriff's Department, as well as Polk Fire. And we got some great feedback from our local folks. Captain Brandon Reagan from Sheriff Mina's office in Orange County said currently nearly half of our cellular devices operate on the FirstNet network. While all major cellular carriers provide some level of preemption during emergencies for designated customers, FirstNet is specifically designed to prioritize first responders during disaster situations. We heard in Osceola from our emergency management director, Bill Litton. Yes, emergency management uses FirstNet for our cell phone providers. We have had good experiences with the service and the resources for FirstNet that they can provide county pre- and post-disaster communications. He went on to talk about the reliability and how 2 new towers were added. And then Polk County Fire also has said that the transition has been smooth and their cell service is reliable through the county. Particularly in Osceola and Polk, we have a lot of rural areas. We also heard back in the committee from Sheriff Atkinson from up in the Panhandle especially during Hurricane Michael, which went from a Cat 1 to a Cat 5 hurricane in one day. I know Dr. Dunn remembers that terrible storm hitting his district, and it was amazing to hear how the communication stood up early on when everything else failed. He did have other advice for us that I'd encourage us to consider, which is making sure we're empowering the independent commission, which is made up of mostly first responders, to make sure public safety is the first concern. That would be consistent with Congress's intent on this. Staggered terms, 5 seats, 3 years per term, and authority to make certain decisions to make sure that public safety is first. Lastly, I was encouraged by the investments we see so far, $14 billion so far with $40 billion more to go in private sector investments. The last thing that is critical is redundancy, making sure that in the rare instances where cellular fails that we have backups with satellite communications as well, and we heard about the progress on that. For that and more, I'm excited to be able to support this authorization and hope we'll take up some of the other recommendations from our amazing witnesses as we get to the full committee. And I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. Is there any further discussion on the bill? What purposes, the gentleman from Texas seek to be recognized?
Speak in favor of the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you for the 5 minutes. I'll take 3 minutes, Mr. Chairman. In my district, FirstNet is not some abstract policy. It's a daily necessity. Local first responders rely on FirstNet every day to maintain secure, reliable communication during emergencies, natural disasters, and major incidents. In Tarrant County, FirstNet also plays an important role in supporting the district attorney's office by ensuring smooth coordination with law enforcement and public safety partners, particularly during high-risk operations and large-scale investigations. I also want to recognize the strong role of the private sector partnering, supporting FirstNet in our region. Their ongoing investment, local engagement, and commitment to safety, to public safety, have made a meaningful difference for first responders and the broader community in North Texas. The reliability that FirstNet provides directly enhances public safety outcomes in my district, and I appreciate the continued focus on strengthening and sustaining this network for those who protect our communities. I look forward to supporting this bill for everyone back home in my district, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the bill? What purpose, the gentleman from California seek
Move
recognition?
to strike the last word.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all know, I'm an emergency physician, but I'm also a disaster aid specialist. And when there's disaster, like 9/11 or a form of natural disaster where people are frantically calling their families to reassure that they're okay, it's been difficult for first responders to break through, and that's why this FirstNet was created in the first place, is to give first responders a critical access in communication that will save lives. And I've seen it in my practice. I've seen it even in disaster locations like in Haiti, when people and health providers and first responders cannot communicate effectively, then people die. It just takes longer for them to get the care that they need. In the 25th District of California, where I live and represent and grew up, we also have our natural disasters. We have extreme heat with a lot of dust. We've had some 100-year storms that have taken down power lines. We have problems with our communication systems, reduce visibility, damaging critical equipment, stretching response times to the breaking point with these dust storms. First responders in these areas operate far from major infrastructures during wildfires, dust storms, power shutoffs, and prolonged extreme heat. For them, reliable emergency communications are not a convenience, they are life-saving, and that's why reauthorizing the first responder network authority, or FirstNet, is so critical. FirstNet ensures that when everything else fails, first responders can still communicate. It is no longer an experiment. It is essential national infrastructure that must be maintained, monitored, and strengthened. Just 6 days ago, we sat in this room and discussed the importance of this bill and your commitment to advancing it, and I appreciate that it reauthorizes FirstNet through 2037, providing long-term stability while prioritizing reliability, transparency, and equity. The bill addresses real operational challenges. It requires regular business continuity and disaster recovery plans, crucial because failure during emergencies put lives at risk. It ensures FirstNet can recover quickly and serve rural and tribal communities like those in my district just as effectively as urban areas. It also gives first responders timely, accurate information through improved outage notification and status tools, allowing them to make life-saving decisions in real time. And finally, the bill addresses a critical gap. Rural areas and tribal nations often face the greatest risk with the fewest resources. Adoption gaps and cost barriers threaten interoperability. Annual reporting by geography and profession is critical, and we cannot fix inequities that we cannot measure. This legislation recognizes that reliability, transparency, and accessibility must work together, and first responders must be able to communicate when it matters most. That ability is essential to saving lives and keeping communities safe. I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen. Is there any further discussion on the bill? For what purpose, the gentlelady from Virginia seek recognition?
Speaking to the bill.
The gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Hudson and Ranking Member Matsui, for prioritizing this subcommittee's work to reauthorize the First Responder Network Authority and your leadership in advancing this important discussion. FirstNet remains a cornerstone of our nation's public safety communications infrastructure. Born out of the lessons of the September 11th tragedy, it was designed to ensure that first responders, no matter where they serve, have access to a reliable, interoperable, and resilient communications network during our most critical moments. As natural disasters, extreme weather events, and other emergencies become more frequent and complex, that mission is more important than ever. This legislation takes an important bipartisan step to ensure that our public safety community is well equipped and prepared to meet the current and evolving emergency landscape. It does so by reauthorizing FirstNet for the long term, providing certainty and stability for the public safety users who rely on the network every day. At the same time, the bill strengthens oversight, accountability, and transparency at the FirstNet Authority. In particular, it clarifies and reinforces NTIA's oversight of the authority, improves reporting to Congress, and provides greater visibility into the network and its contractors' performance. These provisions are not intended to disrupt operations, but rather to allow FirstNet to continue operating in a manner that is accountable, responsive, and worthy of the trust placed in it by our first responders. Importantly, this discussion draft preserves the network's operational continuity while ensuring that governance structures keep pace with the scale, importance, and maturity of FirstNet as a nationwide system. Oversight and stability should not be competing goals. It is important to note that this bill is not the finished product. Today's markup represents an important starting point, and I look forward to working closely with Dr. Dunn, the chair and ranking member, and the public safety community so that the final legislation reflects the needs and priorities of the FirstNet Authority, the contractor, commercial partners, and most importantly, the first responders who depend on this network in life and death situations. I appreciate the committee's thoughtful consideration of this legislation and work forward to continuing this bipartisan work as the bill moves forward. And I yield back.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the bill? For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana seek to be recognized?
Move to strike the last word, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes to speak on the bill.
I strongly support the extension of the FirstNet program, a vital communications resource for our first responders. Through Representatives McClellan and Dunn's bipartisan legislation, H.R. 7386, the First Responder Network Authority Reauthorization Act, public safety stakeholders in Louisiana and across the country have called on Congress to reauthorize FirstNet and to protect the program, which is so critical to protecting lives and ensuring effective emergency responses in districts like mine. I proudly represent Louisiana's 2nd Congressional District, where New Orleans is a hub for entertainment, festivals, sporting events, and concerts. The walkability of our city, combined with culture, food, and hospitality of New Orleans, means that we are responsible for protecting countless mass gatherings throughout the year. In my hometown now, we're celebrating Mardi Gras, where undoubtedly our first responders will be able to test every bit of their fiber to ensure that they're keeping people safe and they have access to safe communications. Louisiana also currently faces the threats from Mother Nature. So we're always plans for the threats from hurricanes and floods when considering the security of any mass gathering. Our communities must be well-equipped and prepared to respond when disasters and emergencies strike, especially in our rural and underserved communities. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this very important bill and ensure our first responders have the tools they need to protect and to serve our communities effectively and efficiently. Mr. Chairman, I yield the balance of my time.
Thank the gentleman. Is there any further discussion on the bill? Question now occurs on adopting H.R. 7386. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted and forwarded to the full committee. Without objection, staff is authorized to make technical and conforming changes to the legislation approved by the committee today. So ordered. Without objection, committee stands adjourned.